Good afternoon, people. How are we doing? It is 2:30, Monday, 2nd of December. That's right, it's Monday afternoon, and we are talking all things FPL Fantasy Premier League, specifically game week 14, the big one. That's right, we looked at the previous game week 13 this morning at 10, and we analysed, looked at the team, checked over what happened with our new defender that brought in, Lewis Dunk. Still toying with him actually at the moment, sort of thinking, do or don't I keep him? I mean, yes, if he carries on being put in the first 11, and quite frankly, he's the captain, he should be in the first 11 anyway, shouldn't he, really? But yeah, I'm toying with him in general. I've also had a little look at his price prediction online, and he's apparently going to go down in price tonight or tomorrow, so I have to be very wary about that because we don't want to lose money on a defender I've just brought in. No, we do not. So without further ado, let's get you guys seeing what I see. As always, you guys can see, check out the social medias as usual. AJP85 channel is Facebook. I've got so many to remember, I always forget. AJP85 channel is Facebook. X is AJ1985p. My YouTube, which is one of the things I'm streaming from live, AJ Hardy 85. Otherwise, it's Twitch A_J_P_8_5. Follow, like, and subscribe, please, and we could be special friends. But otherwise, as I say, it's all Fantasy Premier League, FPL. It's all about game week 14. That was the score we got on 13. Good end to the actual week. But it comes thick and fast, doesn't it, in December? We've got a midweek fixtures. Yes, we do. So let's have a look at those fixtures first and foremost, and then we'll look at what we're going to do with the team. So we have a match tomorrow at 7:30. Ipswich versus Crystal Palace. Have no player in that match at all. However, I can envisage that one being probably a Crystal Palace win, maybe a draw on that one. Eyes on potentially Eze if he's not injured, which I'm not sure if he is or isn't. Ipswich have Leaf in defence these days. He's a good player, very good left back, very good player for them, really, really good defender. So he is a danger man, as is Delap. I think Delap is he injured? Is he okay? See that those are the danger men essentially I look for. Maybe Ismail Assar as well. Remember the guy from Watford who Crystal Palace signed? I think he's getting a bit of a run in the team now as well. Mateta, people talk about Mateta as well. So he's another player to watch out for in that game. So yeah, a couple of players there to keep an eye on, but I have no players from either side, I'm afraid. Good or bad. Gahey as well is a big player, isn't he, defender-wise for Crystal Palace. Munoz scored in the last game. Maybe people are looking at bringing him in. So yeah, lots of players. The question then, I suppose, is does Burgess start or does Greaves start for Ipswich? Because Burgess just got a price rise, didn't he? The little sod. He did. He got a price rise from 3.9 to 4, but he's always been a backup. And Greaves is back from injury. The second match tomorrow is Leicester versus West Ham. I reckon it's going to be a West Ham win, despite the fact that Ruud van Nistelrooy will be taking charge of Leicester. I can see a narrow win for West Ham in that one. I don't, again, have any assets from Leicester, but I do from West Ham, as you guys know. On my bench, I have Lucas Fabianski. I'm sure a lot of you guys have Lucas Fabianski as well, especially as he's become suddenly the starting goalkeeper from West Ham, hasn't he? With Areola being kicked out of the team into the bench. So he's the only player I have from West Ham, and the only player I've got no one from Leicester. I did have a player from Leicester briefly. I was looking at Okoli back in the day, and Vestergaard, those two players. But in essence, Boduarte is another player as well who's been under the radar a little bit inconsistent, the midfielder. Signed him from Brighton. So Boduarte is a player. Vardy, everyone leaps over Vardy, don't they? Vardy party, I hear that a lot. He's been a bit up and down as well this season. So yeah, definitely a bit of an unknown quite. But I think West Ham will win. I think Bowen naturally is the man to watch in this game. I think Bowen's going to get a goal potentially against Leicester, so I reckon there's going to be a narrow win for them. Then Wednesday's all eyes sort of turn to Wednesday for me in terms of when I look at the fixtures and who's playing next. Everton, Wolves. Wolves win. That's it. I'm not even going to sit on the fence. I'm not going to give Everton a chance, even at the home side. I can just see Wolves are on this kind of flow. If Cunha turns up, Strand Larsen turns up, I think you're looking at a straightforward victory. So the idea of avoiding Mikalenko, people, because you guys voted Mikalenko as one of the top options for me to bring in as a 4.3, 4.4 defender, I avoided, and so far that's paid off because they've got a thumping Everton at Man United, and I think they're going to lose to Wolves as well, conceding a couple of goals. Then we got Man City versus Nottingham Forest. Now I'm hoping, please, Man City actually start kicking into gear at some point because they've been so average. You know, if Arsenal hadn't been a bit sketchy during that period of time, I think they would have looked to this season and gone, "It's us versus Liverpool for the title." But right now, Liverpool are flying. Arsenal and Man City are basically going to battle it out for second and third place as it stands right this second. But on the flip side, Man City have to come into form. I'm hoping it's tomorrow, Wednesday, at 7:30 against Forest. I think it's going to be a tough game, but I think they could scrape the win. And I'm looking for Rico Lewis and for Haaland to do something, please. I'm also toying with Haaland as a captain. I'll show you that in a minute. I know what you're all thinking. Differential, seriously? But yeah, I am considering that. Newcastle, Liverpool. That's a tough one for Liverpool. I still have captain Sion Haller, Haller and Salah right this second. I do I have Salah captain at the moment, and I'm still thinking I'll probably come the day keep that on the on Tuesday evening, should I say, rather, because that's when the deadline is. By the way, it's Tuesday at 6 o'clock, so don't forget that. So yes, I'm going to go with the Liverpool win in that one. Narrow. I don't think they're going to win by much more. Maybe perhaps a 2-1 or a 1-0 or something squeezed victory they are away to Newcastle as well. As for Newcastle, I don't have any assets neither. A lot of you guys were telling me to go for Hall when I put up that poll. And I didn't do that because they've got Newcastle next, and they conceded in the previous match. The previous match before that, they're probably going to concede, let's be honest, against Liverpool, maybe a goal or two. So it's not going to be a clean sheet. I would be surprised if Newcastle get a clean sheet or even a win in that game. Southampton, Chelsea. I see a Chelsea win. Very simple. I've got Colwill and I've got Palmer. So I'm hoping Colwill and Jackson. I want Palmer. I'll put that openly. I want Palmer. I've got Jackson, tell a lie, and Colwill. I'm hoping Colwill gets a clean sheet in this one, and I'm hoping Jackson continues his good form and gets a goal because he's been pretty good. Again, a lot of people have been getting Jackson in quite recently. It's a cheap way into the Chelsea team compared to Palmer, who's just rocketed price-wise. I'd love to get Palmer in perhaps after the turn of the year when we get the new wild card out. So Newcastle versus Liverpool I see as a big game, but there's a second big one, the biggest of this game week, in my opinion. Arsenal, Manchester United. Huge match at 8:15. I'm not just saying that because I'm an Arsenal fan. I just took heavyweights, and I see Arsenal, Man United, and Newcastle versus Liverpool as being big fixtures. So we got that at 8:15. This game I think is going to have goals. I really do. I don't see a clean sheet at all in this game whatsoever. I have Raya, obviously, for Arsenal, and Saka. No Man United assets. I did want Martinez. He was one of the players in the poll. He would have got me 5 points in the previous game week, but a suspension this game week, so that would have sort of juggled the good versus the bad, really, and that is what you get with Martinez. Lisandro Martinez is one of those players that when Man United get a clean sheet, he's in there with the rest of them, but he's prone to a yellow, prone to a naughty, cheeky tackle or foul, and that's exactly what he did. He got a yellow card in the match previously, and therefore he's suspended. I may not have even played him against Arsenal, but I would have been stuck if I didn't, because quite frankly, I'm a bit limited for defenders. 3.9 million defender in Kwanzaa is not playing, and Konate is injured for a few weeks. So I'm reliant on Dunk, I'm reliant on Colwell, I'm reliant on Rico Lewis playing. So, yeah, not ideal. I was going to bring Burgess in, but Burgess might even not play this week against Crystal Palace. So I'll keep an eye out. Therefore, we have a match after that. So I see, by the way, in that game, a draw, a few goals. I see, honestly, Man United, I think, will start to play. I think I see probably a 1-1 in that one. I really do. Aston Villa versus Brentford. I have Rodgers as an option for this game, and naturally I have Visa for this one as well. Both will probably be playing, although I am looking at Jorginho Rutter versus Fulham, so maybe we'll see. Might be a bit tricky on that one. I see Brentford probably getting a draw. I don't see Brentford winning despite them winning the other day by 4 goals. I see it being like a 1-1 on this one as well. Not a particularly high-scoring game. I see Mbeumo doing well for Brentford. So if you guys are Mbeumo owners, well done. You're probably going to get a goal, I think, in this one. And I see Watkins, I really do, doing well against Brentford, probably a goal for him as well. As for the Arsenal United match, by the way, I'm thinking probably it's a difficult one. Rashford's flying, so Rashford for United, Arsenal, Saka. There's no two ways about it. I think they're the danger men. Then we fly over to Thursday, don't we, on the 5th of December. I have players in both these fixtures. Fulham versus Brighton. Jorginho Rota and Lewis Dunk for me for Brighton. Fulham are decent. They're at home. I say decent. They're not a team they were like last season before that, but they're still good. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, I see a goal for Fulham in this one, but I see 2 or 3 for Brighton. So I see a Brighton win in this game. I don't see Rutter scoring. I'm hoping for an assist maybe. I don't see Dunk scoring, so I'm hoping for just 1 goal maybe for Fulham rather than a couple. I would love a 6-pointer from Dunk. That would be lovely, wouldn't it, really? But I am toying with even keeping him this game week as well, because if his price is going to go down tomorrow, I might do something really, some people would say knee-jerky, and that is take out Lewis Dunk for this game week and then bring him back if he drops in price of 4.3 the week after. And therefore, I save that 0.1. And believe it or not, laugh all you will, money is tight with this kind of game, and you have to make sure every 0.1 mil can make a big difference in terms, especially in the defence side of things as well. Let's say Lewis Dunk drops to 4.3, he's 4.4 right this second, and I bring him in at 4.3. That gives me a little bit more wiggle room for that Kwanzaa player that I brought in, doesn't it, really? I'll have 4 million then to maybe bring in one of the Ipswich players or bring in a Leicester player who's a set and forget player for them. So we'll see. Definitely an option. And then the final game of the game week is Bournemouth versus Tottenham Hotspurs. Now, Bournemouth don't have a player from them, but I can see they've been doing quite well. Clivert got a hat-trick in the last game. Evan Nielsen was involved quite a bit. They're starting to attack. Areola's starting to get them clicking a tiny bit. But let's be brutally honest. This is against Spurs. Spurs are Spursy, but I think they might do well. I think they might get a win against Bournemouth. I really do. Brennan Johnson is on fire. I think he's going to get a goal. Let's be honest. And I think Son as well. I like the look of Son, but I don't think it's going to be a clean sheet jobby for Spurs. I think Bournemouth might nick a goal. So I think probably like a 2-1 on this one. Maybe a 3-1 Spurs, 2-1 Spurs, something along those lines. So there's my thoughts in terms of the games is for the game week 14 that is coming up tomorrow at 7:30, but the game week deadline is at 6 o'clock. And here is the team that I am toying with right this second. Obviously, I'm on the socials, guys. Don't just check out the video. Let me know what you think of this team. So Fabianski in goal. They face Leicester City, so I'm toying with the idea of it being an easier fixture than the Raya one. Lewis has Nottingham Forest. Colwell has Southampton, and Dunk has Fulham. So fixtures in which you think, in theory, though Nottingham Forest is not an easy fixture, neither is Fulham technically away. You would expect those 4 players to potentially get clean sheets, wouldn't you? Really, the defence. So that's what I'm toying with. Midfield. This is more about, can they score? Can they influence the game? Can they assist? Can they do something more than just get 2 pointers? Well, Saka, yes, I think he can. Salah, yes, I think he can. Rodgers, I'm not sure about each week. Johnson, yes, I think he can. So they're already the midfield 3 out of 4, I think they can. And that's where that rotation comes in and making the right decision. Do I go Rodgers or do I do Jorginho Rota? That's the good decision I've got to make, really. So I will have a think about that. The front 3, unchanged. Basically, it's Visa, who I think might assist, maybe get that goal against Villa. Nicholas Jackson, yes, I think he will score maybe a goal or even 2 against Southampton. Haaland, I'm not getting rid of him. I'm not. Call me stubborn. I'm not getting rid of him because his moment is coming. It is coming. And when it does, all of you guys that have dropped him or don't have him in your team, you'll be falling over yourselves to bring him in once he gets 1, 2, 3 goals. That'll be it. And he'll go from 15 million up to sort of 15 and a half within a few game weeks. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, I'm calling it now. So my only decisions are 2 big decisions. Let me know what you think about these decisions, whether I've made it right. Raya benched against Manchester United for Fabianski as it stands away to Leicester. The second decision is currently right now Morgan Rogers is in the starting team based purely on it being a home fixture against Brentford versus Jorginho Rota away to Fulham. It might be something that I wait until the last second to change in terms of options. But the biggest decision and the final one that I will leave you guys, and I'll do a poll on this as well just before the actual deadline. Mo Salah, Erling Haaland, or, and it's a bit of a grey, isn't it? Saka as a captain. 3 again in that poll. The 3 again up in the air. Saka, I think, could do a little bit of damage to Man United. How much, I'm not sure. Maybe an assist or maybe a goal, but I think that'll be the max of his output despite him being on form. Haaland, could this be the moment that Haaland scores, gets a goal or two against Nottingham Forest, and shows everyone that he is still an absolute monster on this game? Or is it Mo Salah again? And it's between the two of them. You can see I've got captaincy on Haaland right this second because I just think it's going to kick off at some point. I think he's going to absolutely rip it up in one of the games. I know they're not playing well, Man City. I know they're missing players, but it could be the game that goes, you know what, let's just stick Kevin De Bruyne in there. And I know he's not the player he used to be in terms of his pace, but it could be the game where they go, look, we need to do something. We can't just keep losing, or drawing and failing. We have to get a win. We're at home. We're against a team that, in theory, we should be beating, despite Wood being superb and their defence being really solid, Nottingham Forest. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. That might be a lastminute.com decision. I think that one between Salah and Haaland. I'm probably not going to give it to Saka, despite the fact that I love him. He's great and he did so well in the previous match against West Ham, but I just don't see him smashing Man United, despite Man United being a bit edgy. You know, I just don't see Arsenal. And we have this thing with Arsenal versus Manchester United. It's never, even if we're flying. You remember they were beaten when we went on to Man United stopped us when we were invincibles. So it's just one of those things. That game is, it's like almost like a London derby, even though it's not a derby. You know, it's always a bit sort of a bogey team for us, aren't they? Really, Man United, and for a lot of teams. So that currently right now is the 11. So the choice really is the goalkeeper, the midfielder in Rodgers versus Rutter, and the captaincy. Those 3 are my big decisions to make before tomorrow's 6 o'clock deadline. Don't forget, it is 6 o'clock on the 3rd of December. We have midweek games, people, so do not forget it. Another side decision to all of that is the defender, Dunk. I've mentioned him a couple of times now. He got me 1 point in the previous match, which if he hadn't have come on, it would have been Lewis anyway. So 1 point was going to be the standard amount I was going to get anyway. But I just wonder whether it might be worth playing clever with this whole price predictor, because if you look, it's showing Dunk as being 99% going down tomorrow. So if he goes down tomorrow, that could be a bit of a problem, really. So I really am hoping that Dunk, see, it's too much of a risk. If I keep him, he drops in price. Yes, okay, I've got Lewis Dunk for the next few games, and it's set in stone, isn't it, really? But I just think if he drops in price, I'll kick myself and think I should have got him out and then brought him back in again, and then had another cheaper defender to have playing alongside. So that might be what I do. Now, if I do get rid of Dunk, I'm looking at a 1 to 2 week punt on this man, Dragusin, a Spurs player. Now, Spurs have Bournemouth, and then they face Chelsea. So it may just be a 1 week punt for Dragusin for this week, for Thursday. Again, Bournemouth could score against Spurs. They are at home. But I look at the players in that sort of 4.3, 4.4 bracket, and I think to myself, well, I'm not going to bring Mikalenko in because I think he's going to concede. I'm not going to bring in a Forest player because I think they will concede. I'm not going to bring in a Newcastle player because I think they're going to definitely concede against Liverpool. So then what do you bring in, really? I think Villa and Brentford's going to be there's going to be a score draw, so I think it's going to be a 1-1 or something like that. I'm not going to bring in a West Ham player or a Leicester player as a punt. I'm not going to bring in a Crystal Palace player, because at the end of the day, Crystal Palace themselves are a bit shaky. They've got Man City the following week, so if Man City score or perform against Nottingham Forest, I can see them kicking on. So it does leave me with a bit of a predicament, really. Spurs haven't been too bad lately. Yes, they conceded against Fulham. They conceded against Fulham, but they won against Man City out of nowhere, 4-0. They conceded 2 against Ipswich. Again, it's one of those, isn't it, really, with Spurs? 4-1. So they've not conceded, apart from the 2 against Ipswich, they've only conceded 1. So, provided they can perform, it might be that Dunk gets kicked out for 1 week and we stick in someone like Dragusin, because I know that Van de Ven's back soon and I know that Romero's back soon. So there's little point punting on it for longer than a week, really. Maybe 2 weeks at a push, but then they've got a difficult game against Chelsea after that. So there's no point going mad. So it might be out Dragusin, in Dunk if he drops in price, get the 4.3 rather than the 4.4. Some people say, what are you doing? It's a waste of a transfer. Is it, though? Is it a waste of transfer to bring out a 4.4, bring him back for 4.3, and then allow me to have a 4 million playing defender rather than Kwanzaa, who may not play for the next week or two? And I know what you're thinking. Why did you bring him in the first place? Well, it was him or Burgess in order to do this 4.4 idea. So, quite frankly, Burgess, I don't know why I didn't bring him, but to be honest with you, I suppose at the same time, I expected Burgess to end up being kicked out of the team. Greaves will come back very soon, and that's pretty much a gimme, really. Burgess will not be playing for Ipswich once Greaves is fully fit, simply put. So it doesn't matter who I brought in, it's just about them holding their feet. Plus, there was a little bit of me thought, oh, go on, Kwanzaa, play alongside Virgil. But he didn't. He came on and played right back instead for Trent. So, yeah. So basically, it's all about Dunk at this moment in time. Bringing him in, bringing him out, playing around with that. That's something I think I'll toy with for the game week. I'm back on Wednesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we'll see how the fixtures of the Tuesday gone on. I don't have much going on the Tuesday apart from Fabianski if I decide to play him. Obviously, leave comments. Let me know in terms of DMs, etc., how you guys are getting on with your fantasy team. What kind of difficult decisions you've got this week to make? Is it just the captaincy for you, or is there certain players that you're looking to bring in and move on? I know first and foremost that you guys pretty much should be jumping on the Wood train if you haven't already. But some people have said that sailed a long time ago. Strand Larsen might be a good shout as well for Wolves if you can't afford Cunha at Welbeck. Again, Welbeck's a bit of a funny one, isn't he, really? He has games where he does a lot and then he has games where he does nothing. But, look at the last few games, he's done absolutely nothing. And even then he did an assist against Liverpool, goal before that. So is his purple patch over? Possibly. Is it time for Ivan Nielsen now at Bournemouth? Hopefully not if I bring in the Spurs player and defender. Delap, he's gone quiet for a couple of games. So has his sort of streak gone where everyone was falling over themselves to get him in as a cheap option up front? Bowen, I think he could do a bit of damage. Bruno, everyone was falling over Bruno, weren't they? He got 2 assists in the last game, nothing against Ipswich. Goal and 2 assists against Leicester, a goal against Chelsea, then nothing for it. So it's a bit of Bruno would be a big push. I couldn't get him into the team even though I wanted to, unless I would change the whole thing around. Palmer, who I wanted, don't have, and he got a goal and assist the other day. My coverage, though, despite it wasn't as high as Palmer's output, is Jackson, who's got 12 and 6 in the past 2 games. Palmer's only got 14 and then 2 and 2 and 3, so he hadn't done much in a couple of games there. So, yeah, I'm okay for now. And Buemo didn't do anything in the last game, didn't do anything against Everton, got an assist against Bournemouth, and didn't do anything against Fulham. Visa, on the other hand, has been good, hasn't he? Goal, nothing. 2 goals, nothing. Goal, assist. So it's every other game. Visa seems to be doing well, and the pattern is very simple. Home matches, and despite the fact that he's away, I wouldn't bank against him doing okay against Villa. So yeah, basically you can see what I think in terms of the players I've got. I'm sure you guys have got perhaps Palmer in your team and Buemo in your team as well. Some of you probably have Wood and Cunha, Welbeck also in your teams as well. So let me know what you guys have got in terms of options, players, what you think of my team as well. Am I being really rigid? Well, I don't get much of a choice, quite frankly, when you look at what I've got to work with. A 0 budget and a free transfer. So that's basically Dunk. Do I keep him? Don't I keep him? Let me know your thoughts. Should I kick him out and do that clever thing with Dragusin or someone in for 1 week? See Dunk hopefully drop in price and then bring him back. That's my plan. That's my theory, my thought process. That then gives me 0.1 million to then look at Gerald Kwanzaa going forwards, who was a bit of a punt at 3.9. What do you think, guys? Is that a good idea? Is it a complete waste of time? If I save my transfer and Dunk goes down to 4.3, should I be bothered? So one of those really. It's decisions, isn't it really? But game week 14 looks like that, as you can see on the screen. I'm sure a lot of you guys have got players, especially the Liverpool side of things. Newcastle's not an easy fixture, and probably a few Man City players, maybe Haaland, maybe Rico Lewis in your team as well. You go down the same path as I am with the team that I've picked. So yeah, let me know what you think. So goalkeeper's a question mark, isn't it really? The thing about the midfield as well, Rodgers versus Rutter. Captaincy, Salah versus Haaland. And finally, that idea about a transfer, Dunk out maybe for Dragusin for 1 week. Is it worth it to try and see if I can catch the Dunk transfer fall, which he's apparently meant to do tomorrow? So yeah, definitely ideas really. So goalkeeper, midfielder, captaincy, transfer. Those are my things to think about for the next couple of hours and into tomorrow as well. I will see you guys on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We'll have passed the deadline at that particular point. We'll have passed the Tuesday fixtures as well. So for Fabianski, he'll have played against Leicester away. And interesting to see exactly what happens. But all eyes for me in terms of the fixture. I look down there. There's 2 games that stand out: Newcastle versus Liverpool and Arsenal versus Manchester United, both on Wednesday, the 4th of December, and give or take half an hour, 45 minutes between 2 kickoffs. So all eyes on Amazon Prime Video on that day. So yes, thank you guys for watching as always. Remember my socials. I'm on Facebook, AJP85 channel. I'm on X, AJ1985p. I'm on YouTube, AJ Hardy85, and I'm on Twitch, A_J_P_8_8_5. Follow, like, and subscribe, special friends and great, awesome people that you are. I will see you guys on Wednesday. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys.